All right, there was a great lesson hand from last night. That was Thursday, December 3rd, the RBC and the common game hands. It was board 4. So 3 interesting points on this one. A, reverses. B, how to play a cross-ruff. And C, a thing that people have asked about some, how do you play hands differently at match points versus imps? Like I always talk about how over tricks are important. So we'll go through that process. Let's talk about the auction first. I sat north, my partner John Cobb sat south. It was a pass to me, I opened a club. And east at our table overcalled a diamond. Now, normally our overcalls are 5-card suits. That's true. There are some situations where you would maybe get stuck overcalling a 4-card suit. And actually, I don't think this is the worst idea to overcall a diamond with this hand. Normally, you will find that if you are tempted to overcall a 4-card suit, what you tend to have is length in the suit that the person on your right has opened. Okay, because that's going to make it less likely that you have the right shape for, say, a takeout double, or 5 cards in a different suit because you've already got length in the suit they've opened. The other good thing about that is if you have length in their suit, you can kind of picture playing the hand in a trump contract where you're leading that suit and the dummy would be playing after the person who's short in the suit, who would be sitting on your left. So that's another thing about that. Anyway, I actually am sort of, the fact that this East overcalled a diamond, I think I wouldn't have done it, but I think it's the right idea. I think maybe if you stuck me with an overcall here, I'd actually overcall a spade. Okay, but the diamond suit is good, king, queen, 10, 4th. The advantage of a spade is that it's a major. You definitely want that suit led also, and it robs more space from the opponents. So anyway, don't hate the fact that East overcalled a diamond and just reporting the facts. My partner bid a spade. That's basically the same thing that it would be if it were a club pass. It's 4+ spades. It's forcing for 1 round. It's enough to chirp. It's unlimited. All those same things still apply. And it only promises 4 here, because if we made a negative double here, it would actually promise both majors, and my partner only has 3 hearts. Okay. So it went pass, and I reversed into 2 hearts with the north hand. Okay, and minimum shape for this is 5 clubs and 4 hearts, and you're showing a pretty good hand logically because you're bidding 2 hearts, knowing that partner might not have hearts. In fact, there's an extra reason to think that he doesn't have hearts here and that he didn't make a negative double after a club or diamond. So logically, 2 hearts has to be a good hand here. Like every once in a while, you'll run into people that say, I don't play reverses. Well, that's not really an option. Just logically, 2 hearts must show a good hand here because you're forcing partner with 5 or 6 points, maybe, if he's on the minimum end of his bid, to take you back to your original suit at the 9 trick level if he doesn't have a fit for hearts. Okay, so that's why reverses show a good hand. That's the logic of it. And that's forcing for 1 round, not necessarily forcing to game. Right? We'll see how the auction continues. So my partner wanted to get us to a game here with, he's got 9 points, and opposite reverse values, that should be enough for a game. The problem is he was sort of stuck for a bid. He couldn't rebid spades on a 4-card suit. He obviously couldn't support clubs. He couldn't really bid no trump without a diamond stopper. And raising hearts seemed a little bit weird because it's pretty, very, very likely, we'll put it that way, that North only has a 4-card heart suit. Okay, so if you do raise hearts here, you know that you're potentially putting partner in a 4-3 trump fit. That being said, it's probably the whitest lie to tell here, and it's at least the one that he chose. I think I would have chosen to do the same thing in his shoes, and he bid 3 hearts. Our agreements as a partnership here, and there are agreements that I would suggest you and your partner play over reverses. Don't want to get too much into the science of reverses, but a good way to play is that if responder supports one of opener's suits at the 3 level on his rebid, that's game forcing. Okay, so it went 3 hearts. And basically, I just bid 4 hearts here. I did something fancy on the way to 4 hearts, but it's not worth talking about here. So let's just say that North bids 4 hearts, and it goes pass, pass, pass. So East led the ace of spades. When God deals you the ace king of a side suit, it's pretty normal to lead that. And played another spade. And played another spade. So sitting north here, I kind of fell into a little bit of a lazy trap of, hey, I can just play a club to my hand, ruff a club, and if those break reasonably now, or if the jack falls singleton or doubleton, I can just pull trump and take the rest of the tricks, assuming that the trumps are no worse than 4-2, like they're 4-2 or 3-3. I can basically just ruff a club and pull trumps and run the rest of the tricks. That's the mentality I fell into. And the problem here was that West ended up with 5 trumps, which ends up defeating the contract. Okay, so that's what I was thinking. And sometimes I'm guilty of at match points. My brain will just go to what's likely, because so many hands you're just playing about what's likely, and you're not so worried about like, how can I ensure against every minor risk that might exist? So it does tend to some laziness, I guess, and some blind spots, like I would say I had on this hand. So what happened was I pulled trump. The 5-1 break basically ended up setting me one. Here's a better way to think about it. If your goal is to make your contract, let's count tricks. You have 1 in the bank with the queen of spades. The ace of diamonds and the ace of clubs would get you up to 3. And then you actually have a high cross-ruff. You can ruff diamonds in your hand. You can ruff clubs in the dummy. You can score all 7 of your trumps separately to go with our 3, and that would be making the contract. That would be the best way to ensure making the contract. And the way we play a cross-ruff is we go ahead and cash our side suit winners, and then we cross-ruff. So if you decided the cross-ruff was the right way to do, here's how we would play from here on out. We would lead say a diamond to the ace. We would cash the ace of clubs. And now that we've gotten those 2 side suit winners out of the way, we would just cross-ruff the clubs to the south hand and the diamonds to the north hand. We have 3 in the bag, plus 7 trumps equals 10. Okay, so that's the way to play the contract safely. Now back to whether I should have been greedy on the hand. This is a little bit more advanced, but again, it's a question that's been asked a lot of times. It's a great question. How should I be thinking differently about playing hands at match points, given that we know that over tricks are so important? So let's go back to the very beginning of the hand. And this time we're not going to worry about the auction. We're just going to have pass, 4 hearts, pass, 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 and they're going to lead the ace of spades. Here's how non-lazy thinking would have gone if I asked myself, how do I want to play this hand relative to match points? First of all, I would think, how normal is this contract? And I think the answer is not really all that normal. Okay, I think that it's going to be much more normal that people, A, have a bidding misunderstanding and stay out of game. And the more people I think stayed out of game, the less important it is for me to try for over tricks, right? Because 420 is going to beat 200 the same way that 450 beats 200. When I try for over tricks, logically what I'm saying is I think there are a lot of 420s and 430s to compete with. Therefore, it's worth risking getting to 450. Okay, so that would be the thinking. So I don't think that 4 hearts is going to be a normal contract here. That's siren number 1 that should have gone off in my head. That there might be people stuck in part scores. The other thing that I should think is what's going to happen in 3 no trump. Okay, and the second I saw the jack of clubs fall, in fact, as I played 4 hearts out, I won the 3rd spade in the dummy and played a club up, and West played the jack. At this point, I should realize the other contract I'm going to be competing with is 3 no trump, and 3 no trump has 4 hearts, 1 diamond, and 6 clubs for 11 tricks. Therefore, I can't compete with the people that were playing 3-no trump. Okay, they're just going to take 11 tricks. And oh, by the way, like you could say, oh, the spade suit's wide open. That's true, except I know that the person on my left, the east hand, had ace king of spades. So I know they're not going to be able to get more than 2 tricks. I can completely predict that the people who are in 3-no are going to be plus 660. They're going to take 11 tricks. Therefore, I can't worry about that anymore. And I've got to play 4 hearts to make, based on the only people I'm competing with probably are the part score players. And if that's the case, all I got to worry about is going plus. Therefore, I should have realized play to make 4. The cross-ruff line is better than the pull trump line. Okay, so lots of stuff there. Reverses, how to think about match points. And the number one question is, am I in a normal contract? If you're in a normal contract, that's when you take reasonably likely risks to make over tricks. Like if the auction just goes 1-no, 3-no, and you've got 16 points, and the dummy has 11. Well, that's the same contract that's going to be reached at every table, and you can take things like 75% chances for over tricks because it's worth it. The risk justifies the upside justifies the risk. This one, the writing was on the wall. I was too lazy to see it. You can do better than I did on this hand. Hope this helps with reverses, match point thinking, and how you play a cross-ruff. That's cash your side suit winners first, and then go about your roughing. Hope you enjoyed this review of board 4 from last night's RBC and the common game. That was December 3rd, 2020.